Okay, so it's Monday, December 3rd. The sun is going down now, so it's a bit darker, so you don't get to see me quite so well. But, oh well. The It's just Monday, so I don't have as much to talk about as I normally would because I made a video last Thursday, but I do have enough, so I'm going to. First things first, the people are still doing work outside. I'm very happy to be working as a tutor and making some money so I'm not completely in debt. I'm still, if I'm lucky, I might make $1,000 this year, so it's not like I'm gonna make a killing on it. Not even enough to pay taxes on the income, according to my tax books that I have from my tax position that I had earlier this year. So that's good, I guess. I'd rather make so much money that I needed to pay taxes, but we'll deal with what we've got. I've been trying to figure out what to do with it, and I think I'm going to use it to pay down my credit card while I design the solar still that I've been wanting to make, and we're going to see where things go from there. Because nothing would make me sadder than keeping money out to pay for something that I then spend a month trying to get the details right on. And that would eat up more interest, so I'm just gonna do the most intelligent, responsible thing I can think of to do, and we'll see where it goes from there. I also I mentioned last Thursday that I had made myself a medicine shelf, and my mother kind of liked it, but she said she needed one that was bigger. So I've made one for her, and I did such a thorough job on it that I'm tempted to include it as work experience because this is her medicine shelf that I have now cut from cardboard. You can see it has three shelves, one, two, three, and these sizes are not just arbitrary. I actually measured some of her medicine bottles. This is 6 inches because she had one bottle that was 5.5 inches tall, and I wanted to be sure it would fit. I was I also had a bit of an experience with manufacturing it. I cut the pieces. Most of it you see is made from Dr. Pepper boxes, but the back panel, which is so very large, that came from a pizza box. So it's also a much heavier stock of cardboard than the rest, which is good because I'm intending for it to be hung with 3 nails here, here, and here where I've marked them. So I'm happy that I've made this, and I'm pleased with myself. Most of the design was more or less exactly like I'd intended. You see how the corners are cut off here? That's the biggest difference between my initial plan and this. These were originally going to be more slanted, but I decided not to do that because that cuts out a lot of the material, and but I did keep the slant because when I first made it, it had very pointy corners that I kept stabbing myself with, and I said, I don't want that to hurt anybody, so I trimmed off the corners, and I got a nice little happy in between. So now this is more or less done. It's not perfect, but I think it's pretty good. My biggest concern is a lot of it you can see is held together with duct tape. You can also not see that I used glue. I did it in 3 steps. The main things that I did, I held in place using invisible tape. I think you can see a bit of reflection of some of that. This right here is where I put it in place to begin with, this bottom shelf. And then I secured things in place using the duct tape. And then I applied a layer of glue on the underside to really secure things in place. So it looks pretty good, and my mother likes the color. I'm sure she'll like this. Yeah, this was kind of a happy accident because these two pieces were, anyway, it turned out well, so it's one little detail, and it's something I can think about when I'm making things in the future. those aren't folded, they're cut apart and then taped back together because, of course, that's the most intelligent way to do that. But just a little bit more glue and this thing will be ready to go. I saw where one of the fronts wasn't glued as tightly as I'd like for it to be, so it will be. 2 or 3 more hours of drying and it'll be done. So that is something. That's where most of my cardboard crafting went this week. That and my other medicine thing. I do need to practice for my class. I'm still taking the astronomy online class, which is free through Coursera. I'll include a link in the bottom if I can remember it, and if not, you can go check out the site yourself. At the end of it, I think I'll get a certificate, but what's important is just the fact that I'm doing it, and I'm happy that I'm able to study something. I've signed up for 2 other classes in the next few months through the same website, and it's free, and I get a certificate from like a real university being taught by a real person. The only bad thing is that, you know, I would have difficulty proving that it was all really there, but I care most about the knowledge that I'm gaining, so the certificate is just kind of a little trophy at the end of my whatever. You know, kind of like a diploma, except they have more records. So, I'm doing well with that. I'm also working on my Wake Tech programming class. I'm still not as good with input-output to files. I have the text file read in and read out more or less down, and for most of the applications I expect to do, that will be fine. But for realistic programming practice, because most industries and most most of the programs people are familiar with don't read information serially, and they also don't output in a way that people are able to read. I want to learn the binary file format because I think it will be useful, even though it's not useful to me immediately. At worst, I'll have to come back and review it, and then I will remember it better because I studied it more. And I think it would be more useful for programming games, so there's that. Because I would like to have some hobby video games that I make. I'm kind of curious what there is out there for hobby games. I know I've seen independent game competitions, so we're gonna see how that goes. You might hear my dog in the background. Hey Joy, come say hi to the camera. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, Joy's in here with me. She's having a good time. Say hi, Joy. Hey Joy, good girl. So, yeah, my older brother just got home. It's done. So I'm going to call it a day. This video is long enough. But I got my big thing done and I'm proud of it. Made it for my mother because she asked for it.